I don't like Triton boats. Earl Ben's a genius, but I don't like the Triton boat. Yep, there you are. That's the way it is. I know, here I am in the woods again, but just want to see how soft it is. Got a nice breeze blowing, gonna be warm again today, but I need to be able to get in here without burning my truck. I think right now it's pretty soft. I'm walking here a little ways. I'm gonna tell a story or three that involves some successes and some failures. I'll even mention Guido Hibben in the story, I think. Whatever, it's what I do. I talk, I tell stories, what old guys do anyway. I'll be right back. I'm Dale Verts. I'm the old school dude anymore. I tell these stories as much I tell on myself as I do about myself. So I don't like Triton boats. That's kind of the start of the video. Somebody's going to get mad. Listen to the story before you judge me. I don't like Triton boats. But it started a chapter in my life, which was pretty cool. I didn't realize how important it was at the time. I thought, as a matter of fact, it was just going to happen. Triton came out, 97, something like that. And I didn't realize I was at the end of my major attempt to be a professional bass fisherman. I just didn't realize it. My son was born in 98. I've done a video. Boy, look at the deer. You can't see the deer. There's deer. I love coming to the woods. A little tranquility. Bye, deer. They didn't like me much. What? I did a video about why I quit tournament fishing. Family changed things. But 97, I was sponsored by a local dealer with a skeeter. Now, not nothing crazy. Just help with money and stuff, I reckon. It didn't go over very well because I ordered an 18-foot skeeter with a 150 Yamaha. And they wanted everybody in 20-footers with 225s. That's what they wanted. Well, I was trying to fish BSS. Them deer don't know what to make of me. They're out there circling. What? It's set wrong with everybody. I didn't like that. I wanted to be a professional fisherman, care less about 20-foot boats and 225s. Anyway, during that same time frame, I published an outdoor magazine, actually a couple of them, but one, the main magazine, is a free newspaper you find at tackle shops and convenience stores. It had articles about local events in Missouri. It had some national stuff we put in there sometimes. It had lots of pictures of people with their catches and with their deer and things like that. It went over really well. I did that for about 10 years, and I fished. Those days were better than I thought. And back then I thought I was struggling, you know. Way you look back on things, think, man, if I'd just done this just a little bit different. Anyway, a guy that worked for me, distributed magazines and selling ads, wanted to start a tournament circuit. Man, y'all, running a tournament circuit just means you can't win bass tournaments. That's horrible. I know some great guys that run tournaments, some great fishermen run tournaments. But we talked about it for that winter, 96, 97 maybe, I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we decided to do it. A buddy circuit with real payouts, better payouts. We didn't need to make a living off of it. We wanted to make good payouts. We ran our first tournament that summer, I think 97, at Wapapella Lake down south of East Missouri. It was successful. Had a fair number of boats. Everybody was happy. The payout was probably 20% better than they'd ever had before. It looked good. I was going to tie it into my magazine business and my professional fishing. I thought it would work. Meanwhile, Triton Boats is coming on the scene, and this guy working with me, his dealership was going to take him on. And he introduced me to the rep, and we'd come up with a deal that would be a Triton boat circuit. We'd have a boat or two to give away at the end of the year. And I'd get a boat to run. This guy working for me would get a boat to run. It's one of those handshake, backslapping deals. That didn't work out so well. So we made plans to start our buddy circuit that would run into Missouri and Illinois and call it Super Bass. Based on the old BSS tournaments, it was not a trademark name per se. Super Bass, that was the name of the circuit. I drew a bass, had muscles with a cape on. It was It was cool, I guess. The rep, I don't remember his name. It don't matter. He was a dick. Most boat reps are. I've known a ton of them. I sold boats for almost 21 years. He, man. Anyway, I set my dealership up to be a Triton dealer. I gave him a dealership. My Skeeter deal, they were happy to take on a new boat that was real popular. So we got them with Triton, so it was all good and set up. And come boat show season that year. Now, Triton's doing a big push, being a new guy on the block. They wanted my back cover of my magazine, but I had it promised to another boat dealership. Not a brand, but a boat dealership. And it was promised. I told him, I said, look, I said, these guys get the back cover they have had for several years. They get the back cover. After that, I'll give you that back cover every month. It'll be yours. And I told him that. St. Louis Boat Show that year. I used to go to all the boat shows because I actually did some stuff for my sponsors, had my magazine. I show up there and this guy's livid because he don't have the back cover. I gave him a full inside 4-color spread for free, but he didn't have that back cover. I said, I had a promise to this dealership. They get this issue. It's the way it'd been, and I couldn't. Come on, y'all. You don't sell your soul with the devil. But he was unhappy with me. I figured he'd get over it. I mean, I thought I did what was right. So, why don't I Triton boats? I go in the next week after that show to order my boat at my dealer. My free Triton. I ordered the colors. We sit down, figured everything out. And the next day, the guy calls me and says, they won't take that order for you. I never went to a Super Bass tournament. It took 2 years for me to get my scales back. They ran them for a while, and people said they liked them. I don't know what happened. I don't care. I never went to one of my own tournaments. Never saw a penny off of it. Never got a boat. That's my life right there. I don't like Triton boats, I tell you that. The fact is, probably most sports are this way, but bass fishing's a butt-kissing, bend over backwards for people with no appreciation. So that's the way that worked out. So that next year, boat show season come around. I'm still running that Skeeter, 97, 98 boat show season. And I'd met the guys at Lloyd Marine at Lake of the Ozarks, where I still have my boat work done to this day, and buddies of mine. I'd met them in 96 because I was just starting that magazine up, and I was selling ads, and they were just fixing to sell boats. Been there for 20 whatever years working on boats. They was fixing to start selling them. I tried to talk them out of it. I met them. I actually sold a couple boats for them during that time. I'd be hanging around down there, and they tried to get me to go to work for them. I said, no, I'm done selling boats. Besides, I was actually working for my Skeeter dealer, trying to sell boats for him. I sold a few for him, too. I was selling boats when I had time. I going on weekends or whatever. It's what you do when you're sponsored, even if it's kind of a pocket sponsorship. I was at a boat show that February of 98, and they had took on a bass boat line, the Tidecraft line. I tried to talk them out. I said, bass boats are not what you want to do. Stay with pontoons and fishing boats. No, Dean wasn't going to listen to me, which is fine. I spent a lot of that weekend at that boat show with those guys. I knew them. I knew a lot of people in the show, but I hung around with them. The sales rep for that company, I'd known him for years. He'd been a rep with Southern Marine for me before when I was selling boats, so I knew him. We just had a good time. And that Sunday, Dean, the sales manager from the shop, the owner's son, best marine mechanic I've ever met, asked me if I wanted to come down the next day to Lake of the Ozarks. They had some test drives to do. See what they thought of that boat. So I did. We ran boats that morning, and actually the rep and I went fishing for a little while. And I took some pictures. They were running ads in one of my magazines. I had a tournament magazine for a short time. So I took some picturesque photos of him fishing on that boat. And took a guy for a test drive, scared him to death. And we're at the ramp, getting ready to leave. And Dean and Troy asked me if I wanted to run one of those boats. I said, guys, I got this Skeeter, Well, you don't like that deal. I said, well, it's what it is. I'm running this Skeeter. And they said, well, we want to give you a boat. Free. Put you in a boat. I had nothing in writing with the Skeeter guys. That was going weird. Again, I sent them with Triton and there was some sore spots there. Not just with me. It just was weird. So I got me a free ride, and my tournament career was over. I didn't know it. It was still awesome. Now, Charles Evans, who is still the owner of Roy Marine, Dean's dad, a month or so later, I'm at the shop there, and I'm helping him do something, whatever. I still wasn't selling boats for him. I'd said no so many times. I'd go help him deliver boats, whatever. I mean, I had my own business. I could run with him. He said, "You know why we put you in that boat, don't you?" I said, "Well, my good looks and my authority and whatnot." He said, "We asked Guido Hibden. We asked Geet what he thought of you. He told me that Geet said he's a good boy. He overthinks things. He tries real hard. He said, but he's a good guy. He'll be good for you." From Geet Hibden. Now, come on, y'all. I never thanked Geet for that. I really wish I would have. He'd have shrugged it off. They knew Geet forever. They're from the same place. They're actually related, like my wife is, which means probably I'm somehow related to the Evans, or she is, whatever. Side note, my wife is related to the Hibdens, and Dion's wife now, Amy, she related to her too. And she's not from these hills. She's from the city. How's that for a mix? Wow. Fun thing is, Charles Evans, the owner of the shop there, he was Guido's bus driver when Geet was still in school, which I think was through the 8th grade. That's a story I got on that I can tell about too. Nobody knows, I bet. He actually drove a bus at Geet Road. He ain't 8 years older than Geet, maybe, something like that. So I got a free ride, which I did for 4 years, I guess. I had to pay for nothing. Dean kept me in oil. The boat was insured through the company. I put gas in it. I paid for my motel rooms. If I would have known, I would have got a credit card sponsor. I'd have had it whooped. But again, at the end of my career, I fished less and less the next few years as we had children. I quit. When I quit fishing tournaments, 2001, I fished one pro tournament in March that year. I still had a free ride. How many people could say that? And I was selling boats for them by then, too. Late 98, I went to selling boats for them. So they finally got me there, too. I guess for the takeaway from this, when it comes to professional fishing or race cars, whatever, if you want sponsors, it's not really how good you are. I mean, I had a lot of tournament wins up to those years. That's when I was done. But I had a good resume. I could present myself. I was in the Minn Kota booth once, not working the booth. And I started working on trolling motor stuff with a guy and sold him a trolling motor. And the Minn Kota guy looked at one of his pros, said, "I wish you could do that." Instead of sitting around here just looking cool. Made that guy mad at me. That guy never liked me either. Whatever. But being honest to yourself, being honest to the people, being honest to your dealer, it took me a long ways. It got me a free ride. It met some of the best people in my life that I ever met at the shop down there. So it worked out pretty good, I guess. I'm not being negative about none of it. I'm sitting in these beautiful woods. I got some work to go do. And thinking about old times. People want to hear the old stories. There's one that involved Geet Hibden. Involved some treachery. Whatever. I guess I'm going to go do something else. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what's going on with y'all.